Welcome to the Jaguar Podcast, a show where we discuss all things related to Duval County's finest NFL football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Move 42, set, fight!
Duval, baby! Hey, everybody, it's Andrew, and welcome to episode 126 of the Jaguar Podcast. In this episode, I'll be doing a pregame analysis of the matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. So let's get into it. You know, looking at the line for this game, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 10.5 point dogs in this game. I don't know how I feel about that. We don't really play well historically in Tennessee. And we didn't have a very good game last year with Nick Foles against the Tennessee Titans. We benched Gardner Minshew, and it didn't work out very well for us, but I'm hoping this game will be a different outcome. Hopefully we win. But the defense has to show up in this game. That's just the bottom line. We can't play like we played last week against the Indianapolis Colts. We can't blow coverages. We're getting killed on those crossing routes. So we really have to lock up those corners. We have to have C.J. Henderson playing good coverage. We have to have Trey Herndon, play good coverage, lock up that wide receiver and shut them down. We have to get pressure on Ryan Tannehill, and I don't think this guy's a good quarterback. I mean, I really don't. I think he's really overrated, and I think he just has a really good front five around him, a really good offensive line, and Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry is a force to be reckoned with, and we have to shut Derrick Henry down. There's no doubt about it. If he gets going, this could be a blowout. And, honestly, after the Indianapolis game, that first drive, I'm a little concerned. I'm really hoping that we see Shaq Quarterman, Jacksonville Jaguars rookie linebacker out of Miami that we just drafted in this game. The guy can tackle. Let's put Shaq Quarterman in there and see what happens. Put him in some series. Let's blitz. But we need a guy that can tackle. And Shaq Quarterman, looking at his body of work from Miami, I feel like this is the guy that we need to kind of integrate more into our defense. We have Joe Schobert. We have Miles Jack. Those guys are kind of flying around. They're not big linebackers. But I feel like Shaq Quarterman could be like the guy that we use against Derrick Henry to just take him down, because he's a big guy. I mean, this guy just pummels people. And we need to shut him down. And I think if we shut Derrick Henry down, we can lock up Tennessee's wide receivers, like Corey Davis. I feel like we'll be in a good position. They have Humphreys as well. He's pretty good. But I think if we can shut down Corey Davis, I think we're going to be in a good spot. And, I also feel like A.J. Brown's a threat as well. So I think Jacksonville is going to put C.J. Henderson on A.J. Brown because he's a rookie. And then Trey is going to be on Corey Davis. But you got to look out for Tennessee because they have Humphreys and they can go to him. So the defense has really got to be playing aggressively. I think we need to blitz, send pressure towards Tannehill because he's a guy. If you put pressure on him, he's going to make mistakes. He can run. So the defensive ends like Josh Allen and Caleb Von Chasen and DeJuan Smoot are going to have to play really, really good outside contain because this guy can run. And you saw it in the last game against Denver. He had a little bootleg and he had 15 yards. And he got a first down. And, you can't have that happen. We have to be swarming around the ball, and our ends have to have really good outside contain. Our outside linebackers have to have really good outside contain. So, Caleb on Chasen, Cassius Marsh. We need to be flying around the ball. Joe Schobert, he has to have a good game. Joe Schobert has to be integral in this game. He is a sideline to sideline player, and he's got to be able to chase people down and make those stops. And we did. We did in the last game. I was very impressed how the defense recovered from that really, really bad first series they had. And it was bad. And if we have like repeated series like that in the Tennessee game, it could be ugly. So I'm really hoping that our defense shows up and that we get those stops. We got to plug up those gaps. Taven Bryan has to have a better game. He's got to get penetration into the backfield. And the thing about Taven Bryan, I think that I've noticed is it's not that he's a bad defensive tackle where he's getting blown back, but he's getting pressure into the backfield, but it's just his hand moves. Like, he doesn't have good rip moves. He can't get separation from the guard or the center or even the tackle, right? So he's getting double teamed, or he'll bull rush. He's got a really honestly, he has a really good bull rush, but he has to get separation so he can get pressure into the backfield and make that tackle or that sack. And that's what I noticed about Taven Bryan. He just doesn't have that rip move. He's really got to work on that. So I'd like to see him do that, and hopefully he makes an impact in this game. Timmy Jernigan, again, has to have an impact. Avery Jones as well. They just have to plug up those holes and let the linebackers fly around and make tackles. Hopefully we'll see Shaquille Quarterman in this game. And, I've been talking a lot about defense, but the offense, like I said, we have to show up. We have to play aggressively. I think with Tennessee, you gotta get out early on this team. You got to get out early and just start scoring points on this team and demoralize them in their own, home turf. So I'd love to see the offense, go play action and just go deep. And, they have Corey Davis. Let's utilize Colin Johnson in this game. Let's get one of our wide receivers that's just like a tree, that's super tall. It's big. He can kind of overpower those defensive backs and catch those passes that are hard to get. And we have to pass protect for Gardner Minshew. We got to make sure that he has time to throw the ball. And to be honest, Cam Robinson did not have a very good game against Indianapolis. And in all fairness, I will say this, AJ Cann didn't have a good game as well. So the guards and the tackles have to play better. They have to open up holes for James Robinson and for Chris Thompson. Because if we can't mix up the offense and take some of the pressure off of Gardner Minshew, we're not going to be effective in this game. Also, we need to utilize Laviska Shenault. And like I said previously, have those wildcat plays, kind of try to throw off the Tennessee defense. I mean, and run some of those plays that Tennessee did in the playoff game against Baltimore, right? They had like Derrick Henry throw a touchdown pass. Let's do some of that. Let's mix it up. Let's start getting into that kind of similar groove that Baltimore and, Tennessee, those type of teams, they type of plays they run, because that's what wins football games. The same thing with defense. I mean, Todd Wash has to show up and throw something at this Tennessee offense that they haven't seen. Because if we don't, we're not going to win the game. And that's really the bottom line. So I think this is definitely, if Jacksonville shows up, this could be a really close game. Could be another nail biter like the Indianapolis game. But if they don't show up, it could be the Titans could win by 3 touchdowns. So yeah, Titans could win by 3 touchdowns if the Jaguars don't show up. So let me know how you feel about this situation or this game. Leave me a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. Subscribe to the channel. Show your boy some love. Come by Apple Podcasts. Like I say repeatedly, leave me some feedback and a review. Like I said in my previous episode, I have pinned a tweet on my Twitter feed at Jaguar Podcast. If you leave a written review and some feedback on Apple Podcast, send me a direct message on Twitter, and I will send you a official Jaguar Podcast t-shirt or a face cover of your choice. You let me know what you want, and I'll hook it up. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Go Jaguars, and I'll see you next time.
Let me get that. JYD coming up with the big sack. Quarterbacks beware, we on the prowl. Game day night, you could hear it in our growl. Intimidation on to keep their hearts racing. Eating other teams live on TV front of the nation. Spectacular defensive scheme.
This episode is available on the Jaguar Podcast YouTube channel. So if you stop by, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Also, these episodes are available on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other major podcast distributors as well. So if you don't mind, please leave me a review and some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, my Twitter handle is @JaguarPodcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. This is Andrew signing off. Cheers.